Good evening, everybody. This is the Opinion Guy. I am Charles Guarria, broadcasting just minutes away from the world's most famous beach in Daytona Beach, Florida. Uh, I am a little bit late this evening because I had a ring light issue. This one right over here wasn't ringing with lights like it's supposed to, and I need that to not scare you guys because without the proper lighting, I'm going to look worse than ever before. So I needed to get that straightened out. So on me, it's not my lovely guests who are always on time. And I am glad you are here and on time for the show as well. What's happening the rest of this week? I know you're asking that question, and I am going to answer that right off the bat here this evening. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we are establishing as the baseball night, and I have freelance writer Chris Bannon coming on. He has covered baseball, he's coached baseball, he's written about it a little bit as well, and we will continue. We had a fine conversation 2 weeks ago, and we're going to continue with that. I do have an assignment Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's going to be a lighter week this week. Actually, we're in a little bit of a transition here because my deadline changed for the newspaper, Hometown News Volusia, that I work for mostly. I'm a freelance writer, but mostly for them. So there's a little bit change this month. Will be a little bit of a change where some weeks might be a little bit less. So we're going to go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Nothing's happening, and then we come on Saturday with an author. Javier Singh Danji, and that'll be Saturday in the afternoon. Time to be determined, but I will let you know. Check me on all the social media for that. And then M. Redding, a fiction writer, will be on as well. And he is coming on, I believe, I didn't write it down here, but I think it's 2 o'clock. It's 2 or 3. I'll post that as well. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know exactly when, but they're both matinees on Saturday and Sunday. And both authors. And we'll get into the writing process with them and their latest tomes. This evening, we have our Monday night chat. And as usual, I have the great Michael Vass and the great Joe Hannoush. So without further ado, I bring to you Michael Vass Vasquez and Joe Hannoush.
Hello.
How is everybody?
Hey, doing well. It's Monday. What a day.
Yes. All right. Well, I know you got some news, but look, right off the bat, Gregory Davidson is happy to see us. Yes, absolutely, Greg. Thanks for being here. So, Mike, I like, for folks who don't know, Michael does a show on Sundays and on Wednesdays called No Soundbites Allowed. And on Sunday show is a marathon where he'll do like on average 5 to 6 hours, right, Mike?
Well, that's a normal show. Marathon for me is 12 hours.
Okay.
But,
and
yeah, my normal show, Sunday, it's 9 years now that we've been doing it in a row.
Okay. Yeah. So that's, I listened to about 2.5 hours of the show last evening. I was coming back from Fort Lauderdale, which is south of the Daytona Beach area, and about 2.5 hours of the show. And I learned some news. You kind of hurt yourself. What happened, Mike?
Well, some people may have noticed I've had a cold, and last week it was kind of bad. And I was cooking at the time, and just something for a heads up for people. So I'm cooking, and I have a knife in my hand, and I'm going to cough. So I go to cover my mouth, and of course, I stuck my knife in my eye.
Oosh.
So that was painful. Very, very painful.
I'm glad you're laughing about it.
Well, yeah, it was fine. I didn't like embed the knife in my eye. I'm not Gen Alpha. I just, really poked it and got it out, and it was fine. I just hurt like the dickens, and I couldn't really see well. I had a migraine for about a day and a half, and then it's fine.
Wow. What was like the first reaction when you did it? What was the first thing that came into your head?
I cursed and dropped the knife.
Yeah. Did you think I might go blind?
No. But that's more so because I think of myself as basically impervious. So no, that never came into my mind. It was just, that was dumb. That hurt. I can't really see right this second. That's about it.
Holy smoke. So how about you, Joe? Any mishaps in the kitchen?
No, I don't cook anymore. I used to, but I do not cook anymore, and I'm thankful for that now.
Uh-huh.
It's another reason why I should not be cooking is, yeah, I would do something like that as well.
You're not Gen Alpha. You'll be fine.
All right. No, I'm on a ordering out fad right now, so yeah, been doing that. But yeah, nothing too exciting. Just looking forward to the Libertarian Party of Florida convention that's coming up in about a month. So just kind of prepping for that, and that's it. And like hoping to get more candidates running. There's a chance that there might be 4 Libertarian candidates on the ballot
Wow.
in Daytona Beach.
Nice.
So yeah, there's a chance the governor, U.S. representative, state senate, and state house all have overlapping districts in Daytona Beach. So it's possible there might be 4 libertarians on the ballot in 2026 in Daytona.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, definitely keep us up, keep us in the loop on that.
Yeah, it's going to be a while. The qualifying is not till like June for most of that, either April or June, depending on what the seat is. But yeah, hopefully it'll be here before we know it. So yeah, hopefully everyone qualifies. It's a high hurdle to qualify for those seats here in Florida. So yeah, I'm hoping they are able to do it and people get a choice for pro-liberty choice on the ballot.
All right, cool, very good. So I want to start out with a segment that we have here that I like to call the dumbest news take of the week. And the dumbest news take of the week this week goes to those who are thinking of threatening the world, thinking of World Cup fans who are threatening to boycott when the U.S. hosts the event this coming June and July over the Ice Renee Good killing. And there's an article in The Independent that a German politician is calling for possible boycotts of over Trump's Greenland threat. He noted that the close interest Trump has to the event, German politician Jürgen Hart suggested that Germany could consider boycotting the World Cup to pressure the White House in regards to its threats of annexation of Greenland. Such a play could be used as a last resort, he said, this politician from Germany, in order to get Trump to see sense. Said the politician, his name again is Hart, Jürgen Hart. So what do you guys think? Is this like crazy? Aren't you just kind of like harming yourself by not going to something that you would like because you don't like the political party that's in office within the country that's hosting the World Cup?
Yes.
Well, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of several things. I am a fan of the World Cup, and for quite a few years, I had never missed a World Cup in a row. Recently, I did. That means sometimes waking up at literally 4 a.m. so I can see the World Cup, or juggling my work schedule sometimes. I love the World Cup. My team is Argentina, by the way. I love Argentina. Germany is actually my number 2 team, believe it or not. And for Jürgen, you're an idiot, Jürgen. The World Cup's in the United States. The United States doesn't care about the World Cup. That could be a threat. If we were talking about Argentina or Brazil, if it was in Europe, that would actually be a kind of realistic threat. It's America. We don't care. And you'll only piss off fans around the globe if Germany doesn't actually go to the World Cup, because they are one of the top favored countries. They'll only hurt themselves. But a different variant on that is there's 8 countries out of the EU that put 30 troops into Greenland this weekend. And already Germany, by the way, Jürgen, your government ran away. They sent 13 troops and then they took them back home before the end of the weekend. So yes. Germany has no backbone at this point. Okay. And what Europe is now trying to decide is, are they going to do what they call a trade bazooka? It's about $93 billion of trade embargo. That only hurts Europe. It'll hurt America a little bit for a little while. It'll destroy Europe. They're stupid. And that's all because they don't want America to have a deal with Greenland. That's stupid, because Europe can't develop the rare earth metals that are in Greenland. So it's a waste. America can, and we need it. We need it for our economy. We need it for the world economy. We need it for global defense. So they're only hurting themselves because they don't like Trump. And that is a stupid reason to decimate the next 3 decades of technology and growth in the world. That's my opinion.
Okay, Joe, and you said yes. You want to extrapolate on that?
Yeah, no, I largely agree with what Mike said. The people that are hurting the most are the German players and the German fans. Like, I don't think Trump cares at all, frankly, if they don't come here, and that probably bumps the United States team up a little bit if they don't have to deal with a better team. So he's probably happy about that, honestly. And I don't think Trump is going to change his mind based on that at all. I don't think he cares about Germany, playing there or not. It doesn't make any sense at all. You're hurting your own country by that, your own team by that. And bringing up Greenland in there, I'm wondering, does Greenland have their own World Cup team?
No.
Or are they attached with Denmark or something?
They're with Denmark because they got 56,000 people. That'd be like a third of their country if they actually had a team. No,
I don't know. I remember watching what was that movie? Cool Runnings.
That's Jamaica. That's bobsleds in Jamaica. Yeah, totally different thing.
All right. I don't know.
So let's take it back to the folks who are just thinking of boycotting. Now, this is not a country. This is just like the 9-to-5er over somewhere in Europe or anywhere else in the world who's like, I didn't like what the Trump administration, ICE did, and in Minnesota, so I'm not going. Where's the logic in that? Is there any logic? I just tainted that question. Is there any logic in that, guys?
Are these German fans that are saying they're not traveling to the United States?
Global. I think you mean global, right?
It's globally, yeah. There are people. Yep, I was watching a report from India today, but I'm quite positive it's in other places as well. Yes.
No.
Okay, well, I mean, they're just hurting themselves. I mean, if they want to go there, it's a game, okay? If they want to go travel and enjoy a game, go do it. If you don't, then don't do it. And if you don't like the country that you're going to be in, okay, I guess that answers your question. Then don't go. Watch it from home on TV. That's fine. But thinking the president of the United States, Trump, cares, he doesn't care at all. He doesn't care at all, not even a little bit about those people protesting or not protesting, boycotting.
So for everyone in the world except France, if you are French, stay home. Don't come. I'm happy about that. Screw you guys. As for everyone else in the world, it's pretty laughable to have a position that says because the internal situation in the United States, law enforcement is enforcing lawful, legal laws. They're legally doing their job, and some foreigner in a foreign country doesn't like it. Your countries are not nearly as free, nor as stable, nor as welcoming and open as the United States. Shut up. You have no idea. Don't even talk about American politics. Let's be honest here. They have, especially, let's look at the EU as an example. You let in how many millions of people and completely destroyed? You have how many no-go zones in your country? Each and every one of the European countries, except for Poland, because they were smart and said, no, you can't come in. And you want to tell America, no, you've got to let them in. You've got to break the law of your own country to let in these refugees that have destroyed sections of every other country that has done this. No, I'm sorry. You have a horrible set of a standard, and shut up. I don't care what you think.
Well, to be clear, in this case, it's not who they're letting in and not letting in. It's about the ICE Renee Good killing in Minnesota.
Have you seen the way they enforce laws in most of the countries around the world? including the first world nations like Germany, France, the United Kingdom. Have you seen how they? My statement stands. They are nowhere near our standard in terms of passivity, in terms of lawfulness, in terms of virtually any aspect. They have nothing to stand holier than thou on. They are worse, empirically, absolutely worse. So shut up, don't come. It's okay if you come. And by the way, you're wrong, Joe. It's not just a sport game. It's the World Cup. In the United States, that may not mean as much. For every other country in the world, literally, it is the big deal. The Ivory Coast declared peace. There was a 10-year civil war. And because the Ivory Coast team made it to the World Cup, they got out. They were kicked out in the second round. But they made it in, and they declared peace. Both sides, both factions, who have been killing each other for 10 years, just so they could watch their team in the World Cup. It is the biggest deal in the world. It's not just a game.
But on this show, United States, nothing is bigger than the World Series. Because I hope, so I get to say, you don't care about either.
Not really. I mean, I used to be a huge NASCAR fan. Like I watched every race of NASCAR for I think like 11 or 12 or 13 years maybe. Every race, every weekend, I was glued to TV. My whole day was dedicated to watching NASCAR, and I would watch the other tiered races also. And then I just stopped, and I just like that. I didn't care anymore. It was very strange, but it's like that's what it was. And I did enjoy watching the World Cup when they were here in the '90s. I think, I think it was like '92 or '96. They had it in I think Atlanta, and I really got into it then. I really enjoyed watching it. And then I knew every player's name and everything. I couldn't name a single World Cup player right now.
You mean that happened? U.S. players or the world players?
Not me, none, neither. Well, I only follow one sport. For me, I only follow one sport, and that's baseball. I don't even follow football anymore, Joe. I went down your path with football. I was a huge Jets fan. Torture. I used to tell my dad that the two greatest things he ever did is make me a Cardinal fan in baseball. And the greatest thing he ever did is make me a Cardinal fan in baseball, and the worst thing was a Jet fan in football. I used to tell him that all the time because they're like two opposite ends of the spectrum for folks that don't follow. Cardinals, one of the greatest franchises in the history of American sports. The Jets are one of the worst franchises in the history of American sports.
And Jets is true, yes. True for the Jets, and the Yankees are the best, period. Full stop.
Yankees are the best in the American League, for sure, and they are the best in baseball.
In baseball. They are the best
in baseball. Are the best in the National League. But the Dodgers are getting close, unfortunately. However, that's for tomorrow night's show, Mike, and you could chime in tomorrow evening on the baseball show if you'd like, and you too, Joe. So Joe, I think Mike, you asked Joe if it's the World Cup. So it's the World Cup you don't like, and like you don't know the names of the players anymore or anything like that.
Me, yeah, I couldn't name a single player at all of the World Cup team. Yeah, or any baseball team either, by the way. I know Javier Baez, and I only know him because he played in Daytona, where I live, where we live. He played for the Tortugas, and I actually got one of his I don't know if it was him or another player, but they hit a foul ball, and I got the ball. And I had him after the game, he signed it for me. So, and I know he hit a home a in the World Series a few years later.
Yes.
So I got his autograph. I watched him play in Daytona, the minor league. So that was pretty cool. But other than that, I don't know who any of the other players are. And even the Jaguars, this year I had a superstition. I grew up in Jacksonville, right? So I was a big Jaguar fan. And this year I normally either listen to them on radio or I watch them on TV. If I can watch them on TV, my backup is the radio. But they were having a horrible start to the season. I think they were like 1-4 or something. I was like, okay, here we go again. And then so I didn't watch the 5th game or something, and then they won. And I watched the next one, they lost. And then I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'm done. They always make me feel bad, whatever. It ruins my whole day. And then they just went on a winning streak. They won 7 in a row. They went to the playoffs, and I was like, I purposely did not watch them or listen to them at all because they were doing well. And then the last game they lost was in the playoffs, and I was like, oh well. And it was a heartbreaker. They lost by I think 1 point or something, 1 or 3 points.
I don't know. I don't know anything about football.
I don't know.
The
Anyway,
best
that's
thing.
a little superstition. I didn't get to enjoy them, like one of their 1 out of 5 winning season years, and I didn't get to enjoy it because I was superstitious. So that sucked.
Well, there's always next year.
Yeah.
But you can enjoy an air fryer, and Ruben Cologne suggests that you get one. So you're not eating out so much.
I actually do have an air fryer. I got it as I think it was a Christmas present. It was either a Christmas present or a birthday present to myself. And I burned myself to, speaking of Mike, pumping his eye out, I burned myself on the air fryer. And it's not a small one. I mean, it's not a big one, but it's not a small one. And my hands are, I guess, too big. And I hit the sides, and it's like operation, I got buzzed, and it was not fun. But I do enjoy my air fryer. Like whenever I have, it cooks chicken really well and relatively fast in the oven. It toasts pretty good too, but it takes forever to toast.
All right. Well, Mike has chimed in. Mike from No Soundbites Allowed chimes in. He says, I've never actually used an air fryer before. I should buy one, and I suggest that you should, Mr. Vasquez. And Joe, you already have one, but if you're ever in need of another one, we have an air fryer from Green Pan, and it is fantastic. And I happen to use the air fryer quite a bit. See, now, folks who are just tuning in said, I thought this was a news show. What are they doing talking about food for? Well, Mike had an accident. Was that?
I don't even know how he got here. Okay.
Mike had an accident in the kitchen, and you'll have to go back and listen to the beginning. And but he's fine, as you can see. He's here this evening. And we started talking about food, and Ruben Cologne, who, Ruben, I do owe you a phone. I do owe you a phone call, or reach out to you on social media, and I will do that soon. I want to get you booked on the show, and he suggests an air fryer, so that's how we got here. So I would say Green Pan is a fantastic one, and they are not a sponsor yet. They can be if they want to be, and I use it quite often for my toast, and it does take time, but in the end, it's a good result, and also for vegetables and stuff like that. Air fryers are fantastic. So yes, get them. Audrey checks in. 2025 was a jobs disaster. Layoffs. Layoffs urged to the highest level in 4 years. Job creation collapsed. All right, 2.7 million.
Completely wrong. Completely wrong. False stats. It sounds like a bot. Honestly, it sounds like a bot because first of all, there were 1.5 million fewer jobs under the Biden-Harris administration. That was not reported while Joe Biden was in. That's from 2023 and 2024. So they lied to us again. And we found out the truth in 2025. So all of the stats that this Audrey is putting out there, or the bot that likely is Audrey, is lying to the public. There's several other problems with the numbers that they're trying to quote, especially when you start thinking about people recovering jobs or going back to their jobs in 2021, which is not a job being created. But yet, for many, many years, and to this day, Democrats still continue to say, well, those were new jobs created. No, they weren't. It was what people went back to work. That's not a job created. So this is a bot kind of statement. It's absolutely false. There's no credibility to it.
Yeah, definitely out of left field too, which makes you think that it would be a bot, because it had nothing to do with cooking or air fryers or even Greenland for that matter. Mm-hmm. So, definitely.
Cooking and sports is what we're talking about today. She's talking about politics. Yeah. I mean,
come on. What the heck? Where was that coming from? That was completely out of left field. All righty. So I did want to bring this up because it is big news, particularly to Mike and to Joe. And I know Mike is aware of this, but look at this, the New York governor's race. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Larry Sharpe is at 8% in the polls. And that is a fantastic number, just getting started in the campaign for governor's race. And that race, Mike, is not this fall, but next fall, right? So 2027?
No, it's 26. It's this year.
Oh, it's this year.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All righty. So he's doing great. And Any thoughts on this from either one of you? Joe, you can go first since you are the Libertarian, and we're talking about the Libertarian candidate, Larry Sharpe.
Yes, Larry Sharpe is the Libertarian candidate for New York governor. He's run before. He's a very active candidate. He does something called the Full Sharpe, where he goes to every county in New York every year. I believe he's done that 8 years. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
He's in the middle of the 8th year.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome. I think that's what a governor candidate should do. He talks to like small pubs and local groups and whatnot, and those are the people. Those are regular people. He's not going to these whatever these like special interest group fundraisers or whatever. He probably should. It's going to help with campaign funds, but he makes a point to talk to regular voters, and so he's just a regular guy. He cares about regular people. He doesn't care about like wanting to build a bureaucracy. So he's definitely showing that in the way he campaigns. Him getting 8% in what will probably be a three-way race. It'll be Hochul as a Democrat. Who knows who the Republican will be? I think there's a chance it might be Larry Sharpe, actually. Probably not, but there's a chance. And then Larry Sharpe will likely be the only quote-unquote third-party candidate on there. So I'm not surprised he's at 8%. I think he has a chance to get a pretty decent percentage out of it. Obviously, I care because the governor candidate has to get, I believe, 2% or better to qualify for ballot access for the party up there. So I'm a party guy. I'm in the Libertarian Party, so that's a big deal for me. So I hope he does well, not only for that reason. I hope he wins, frankly, because I think he could make a lot of good changes for New York. And I'm not just saying that because we're libertarians. I'm saying that because he actually has real solutions. It's not like, okay, we just need to throw more money at it, and it's probably not going to work. So the solution is throw more money at it. Doesn't work. What's the solution? Throw more money at it. He actually wants to fix the thing. So he's got solutions. Right. If you go to LarrySharpe.com, you'll see actual solutions to things. You might not agree with it. I don't agree with all of his, but they are actual solutions. And I think give it a shot. Like, give him 4 or 8 years. If it doesn't work, never vote Libertarian again. Just keep voting Democrat or Republican or whatever. Just give a Libertarian 8 years. I wish he would have been elected in 2018. Had New York voters just vote, I know you guys probably voted for him in 2018, but if they would have just voted for Larry Sharpe in 2018, he'd be almost out now. He'd be leaving after this year. And who knows how New York would look right now.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope he not only gets on the ballot, I hope he wins. It may not be hugely realistic, but we gotta give libertarians a chance to govern and see how they do, and I think people will like it.
I'm going to piggyback on what you said as far as when he does the Full Sharpe and he goes to all 62 counties in New York. Mm-hmm. And he'll go to, you said local places, he'll go to like taverns and diners. He encourages people who are going to be there, buy whatever you can afford. He'll say if all you can afford is a cup of coffee, do that. If you can afford a meal, get a meal. So that's a great way to campaign. It's really retail politics. It's boots on the ground, retail politics. And I would love to see him on the debate stage because he's a dynamic speaker. I'm going to plug his show. He's on, if you go to YouTube, it's the Sharpe Way. And he also has the Larry Sharpe for his governor stuff. And then the Sharpe Way for when he's just opining on politics. And I would love to see him on. I don't know if Bruce is a good speaker or not. Mike, I have a feeling you will know that. You can piggyback off of my question there of whether or not Bruce Blakeman can even handle himself on the debate stage. Larry Sharpe can handle himself talking wise, dynamic speaker, fine on the debate stage. I think if it was just him and Kathy Hochul, he'd eat her lunch. There would be no question about it. But Mike, so let's start right there. Is Blakeman Is Blakeman a good speaker? Would he be a dynamic person on the debate stage?
Blakeman's already lost the race. He's unimportant. He's not.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Because he's got 34%. So why do you say that?
That's not exactly correct. Let me be fair.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is a Zogby poll, so it is a legitimate poll. It's one of the 3 big polling companies, and so it's a very respected poll. And Blakeman, when you're asking, and I've seen a trend in the polls. I never look at any one poll I looked at trend of all polls. Tells you more about the truth of who's winning, losing, and by how much. Blakeman is a very big fish in Long Island. He is virtually unknown in upstate New York. No one knows him. No one cares about him. No one cares that he's a big fish in Long Island because that's not important to anyone. Blakeman has no plan. He has no solutions. And I'm a Republican, by the way. I've been a committee man in New York State for about 20 years. So I understand. A lot of people go down the straight line, down party politics, but you should, because Blakeman isn't a good choice. Neither was Elise Stefanik. And I know I've met Elise several times. I've talked to her personally. Neither of them were good candidates. And I say that as a Republican. And we know Hochul is absolutely horrific. She's been destroying the state. We've been losing $20 billion a year. We've been losing somewhere around 250,000 people every single year that Hochul's been around. And that's on top of the number of people we lost under the now disgraced former governor, Andrew Cuomo. Democrats have been destroying the state. Look at every problem in New York State for the last 30 years. That's all Democrats because they've had single party rule over the entire state. So every bad law, every increase in taxes, every extra fee you have to pay, everything that's broken, those are only Democrats that did it. Republicans didn't do that. Third parties didn't do it. That leaves me with Larry Sharpe. Now, to be fair and to be clear, I've known Larry for 10 years. I was one of the first people to interview Larry when he was in Southern Tier, New York, Central New York, and no one else would give him airtime. I did. And I interviewed him for, God, I think the first time was 2.5 hours. Second time I interviewed him was 1.5 hours. Grilled him like no one's business because he's a libertarian. And I don't care about libertarians. I don't care about the party. I don't care if the party wins or loses. I want them to have a voice. And there are individual libertarians that may or may not be good. But as a party, I don't care. But Larry, I've known him for 10 years personally. We meet up. We live in New York City now at the same time. We go out from time to time and hang out. We agree on several things, and several things we vehemently do not agree. And we've done that publicly where we agree and disagree, as well as in private. He's a good man. He's a Marine. And I do support him, and I have publicly announced this. I support Larry Sharpe for governor of New York. Very much like Joe had mentioned, it's because he has solutions. He has 8 hours of solutions. He has pages upon pages of documented solutions to legitimate problems that are existing right now. And I don't agree with all of them, but I agree with enough of them. And they are realistic. Even the ones that I don't agree with, they have some credibility to them. We need that. That's the only way we get solutions. And sadly, a Republican cannot win in New York State, which is why we are down to people like Bruce Blakeman. He's one of the few people who's even willing to try, and realistically, he's not. He's one of the few people who's willing to put his name on the line to grab up some money and to walk away with a loss. So, and it is incredible. A lot of people look at 8% for a libertarian or a third party, and they go, well, 8% is not a big number. We're talking about the third parties. These are people who don't get attention. You don't see these candidates on MSNBC. You don't see them on CNN or ABC. The New York Times doesn't really talk about these people. It's rare for them to be in polls at all. And to see that Larry Sharpe is nearly at 10% of the electorate tells you that the public has seriously said, Democrats, they're not the answer. And Republicans, especially those like Bruce Blakeman, they're not the answer. They're looking for someone who has an answer. And I think that Larry will do better as he moves forward in this race and people get a chance to find out who he is. 1 or 2 more polls like this, and I expect that as we get closer to the line, you're going to see he's going to move up. More people are going to pay attention because he's the only one offering a solution and no one else is.
So Joe mentioned that perhaps Larry's going to be in the Republican line. And I know a couple shows ago, Larry was discussing that possibility. Mike, are you at liberty to say, or do you have any knowledge of where that stands? Is Larry going to pursue that or not?
He's mentioned publicly that he is looking at this. This is an opportunity, potentially an opportunity. What this means is, for people who don't know, in New York State, if you are a Democrat, you can only vote in Democrat policy primaries and the general election. That's it. If you're a Republican, you can vote on the Republican primaries and the general election. If you don't have a party, or if it's a party that isn't recognized by New York State, which is unconstitutional for the most part, then you only vote in the general election. That's very restricting. It makes it very hard, and it's done on purpose to isolate power to the two major parties, Republicans and Democrats. It's very unfair to third-party candidates who are treated like redheaded stepchildren. So Larry has been considering the idea of, I will run in the Republican primary to be able to get the attention to present his ideas and his solutions to Republicans. Democrats won't even let him try and do that. Republicans might, not guaranteed, but they might do that. They may let his voice be heard, and that could only help him reach more people, to give them more choices and more decisions in the election, either in a primary or in the final race. He has not made as far as I'm aware, he's not publicly come out with a final decision. And so we're waiting to see if he does it. I think it's a smart way of getting more attention. I think he should try it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I agree. And I do want to jump on Mike, when you said, that third parties don't really get a lot of play.
Nope.
I am, all about that here on this channel. And I've reached out to one of the reasons why I want to do the news segments and I've had a couple of libertarians on, is I want to give a voice to the voiceless. I believe that we should have more than two main parties. In fact, I believe the more, long story short, we're not really free if we only have two choices. I believe we'd be more free if we had more choices. Two choices is only one more than a communist country has. That's not doing we're not doing all that well if you think about it like that. So we need to give a voice to the voiceless and have a real choice, not a rigged choice. I'll save that for another show, why it could be rigged, but clearly it is more often than not. Multiple parties would mean less of a chance of that happening, at least. So anyway, I want to give a voice to the voiceless. I have reached out to the Forward Party of Florida and the National Party. And I have reached out to other third parties. If you are a member of a third party out there, if you know somebody, make sure they get in touch with me. I want to bring on your candidates, much like I brought on libertarian candidates here and will in the future, and Republicans and Democrats. I'm not dissing you guys. I want to have a full discussion with all the different thought processes. So absolutely, this was a place for the voice of the voiceless in politics. And I feel like, both of you guys had some made salient points about Larry Schwab. And it reminds me of when Donald Trump was reaching out, this may have been his first run, when he was reaching out to the African-American community, he said, after all these years of voting Democrat, what do you got to lose? Vote for me, paraphrasing. That's basically what he said. And yeah, so what does New York have to lose at this point? I mean, people are leaving in droves, like Michael said. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. Change the way just once, see if it works, which is what Joe said, and maybe it will. Maybe you walk away going, wow, these libertarians know what they're talking about.
No, Larry does. I'll say Larry does. I know too many libertarians. I can't say that. I'll say Larry does.
Well, I know.
Present company excluded, obviously.
Well, yeah.
No, but
I keep forgetting, Joe, that you're a libertarian. So
what was I going to say? I actually tell people this when I'm talking to random voters. I introduce myself as a candidate, and I've been doing this for ever since my first campaign. And they would say well, how do I trust you? You're a politician. You're telling me you want to do X, Y, Z. What if you go in there and you do A, B, C? And I tell them, don't vote for me again. Hold me accountable. And then I ask them have you ever heard a politician ever say that to you? And they say no. No politician ever said, don't vote for me if I don't do what I say. So I tell them that. I'm like, okay, then don't vote. Give me a chance. Give me your vote now. And if I get elected and I don't do what I say, you might disagree with what I want to do. But if I don't do what I say, if I'm a hypocrite, basically, don't vote for me again. Never give me your vote again. I'm telling you, don't do that because I don't deserve it. And that's the way I hope I plant a seed in their head that, like, okay, now, well, if Joe doesn't get elected, okay, whoever does get elected, I'm going to hold them accountable. So I'm hoping that that is what happens. Either I get elected or they hold the person that does get elected accountable. Because that's what we need. I mean, that's really one of the main reasons why I've been running for office and trying to help build a viable alternative to the Democrats and Republicans.
Well, I think it's more than party. I think people get hung up too much on the parties. I've always said we should have effective, efficient people in any elected office. And if someone isn't effective and efficient, either in their policies or if they are already elected, then don't vote for them. I don't care. If someone's effective and efficient in their policies and their ideology, then I vote for them. If they aren't, I won't. I don't care about the party because the party doesn't make them more efficient or make what they're doing any better.
No, I agree.
It doesn't work that way.
And in many cases, it makes them worse. It makes them like block vote. Like they might have like I've seen AOC, for example. I've seen her cry on the floor of the Congress because she felt pressured to vote with the Democrats, and you could tell in the way she looked, she didn't want to vote with them.
But she's a Democrat. She's also a sellout. Yeah, but AOC is a Democrat and a sellout, and she's also a progressive Democratic Socialist of America. She wants to destroy America. Every time she cries, I'm happy. I cheer and I dance. I don't care that she cries. Boo-hoo. Don't sell out next time. Stand by your principles. But if she did, she wouldn't be in Congress. Good. Get out. I have nothing positive to say about her other than, she's a living example of how you can fail and be in Congress at the same time. I'll give her this. You know what? I'll give her a compliment. She is better than Jasmine Crockett, and that isn't really lifting the bar off the ground.
I think AOC is looking at an opening. I believe I have said this before. If Trump's coalition falls apart, they're going to look at AOC because they just want somebody who's going to change. And I think that's why she teamed up with Bernie. He's essentially handing off the reins of the DSA leader within the Democratic Party. Pelosi is out, more or less. I don't think she's officially left yet, right? But she's not going to run anymore. What? I'm sorry?
She's going to leave. She's retired.
Yeah, she's going to leave. Pelosi, of course, stymied AOC when AOC got in there. Remember the big storm when AOC was there? She was knocking on Pelosi's door and she's doing all these things. And Pelosi got her in line. She was a sellout. She got hell for that in the town halls. I think she sees an opening, particularly if Trump is not successful, that she can win these people over, the people who just want change and will vote for anyone who's going to offer change. So we'll see what happens. I think she's gearing up for that.
She wants to be president, and she'll never be able to achieve it because she's too much of a pimp.
Yes. And now there is somebody who might achieve the governorship of Georgia who just accepted, and I know you guys know him, and I know him because I voted for him, and he is Chase Oliver. He accepted the LP Georgia governor nomination 2 days ago. This is 48 hours ago. He accepted the nomination, and I am psyched for that. He was, for folks who are not 100% sure who Chase Oliver is, he did so well when he ran for Senate that he siphoned off enough vote for Warnicki and Herschel Walker to have to have a runoff. So he effected change in Georgia. He then became the presidential nominee of the Libertarian Party. And said very recently that he wasn't thinking of running again because he wanted to do like a 9-to-5 type thing and not be a career politician. However, he was nominated by the LP party and he is going to accept. Thoughts on that, gentlemen?
Yeah, I am very, very excited when I heard the news that Chase Oliver got nominated to be the governor candidate there. Now, just like with Larry Sharpe in New York, Georgia has horrible ballot access hurdles. It's not quite as bad as New York, but it's up there. It's bad. So they did nominate a lot of libertarians to try to basically do what Larry did last time around, was challenge in courts like, hey, we literally can't get on the ballot. Like this is too difficult. So they are nominating people to try to get just even on the ballot. Obviously, they're going to have to use the courts to get on there. But that aside, you're right. He was going to take this election cycle off because he ran for U.S. House, then he ran for U.S. Senate, which was a statewide, very active campaign. And for those that don't know, you alluded to it already, against Warnock and
Walker.
Herschel Walker. There was a debate there against Herschel Walker and Warnock and Chase Oliver, and Herschel Walker was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. So they had an empty podium with him there. And if you ever want to look up Chase Oliver, U.S. Senate debate, he did a brilliant job. Like, it was great. He did an excellent job on that. And I think that's what got him to become the Libertarian National Party presidential nominee in 2024, in part. And yeah, I'm looking forward to I don't know how active he's going to be now, because he said he's tired. Like, he ran like basically was been a candidate for like 5 straight years. I hope he's trying to be as active as he can be. I think he does have an announcement on his own first podcast or whatever, live stream later on tonight. I think at 9 o'clock or something. So if you look up Chase Oliver on YouTube, you'll probably or X or Facebook, you'll probably be able to see him there. I'm really excited about that. I'm really happy. And yeah, we need more libertarians on the ballot, getting our name out there and our message out there, and go up against Republicans and Democrats who have been either wrong on issues or hypocrites when it comes to what they campaign on versus what they actually do. So yeah, I hope people give a libertarian a chance, again, just for 4 years, 8 years, whatever it is. Give them a chance. I think they'll like what they see. If they don't, vote against them the next time.
What say you, Mike?
I met Chase in the 2024 presidential race. I've been to a couple of events where he was at as well. I think he's a nice guy. I saw his policies. I wouldn't vote for him for president. I didn't vote for him for president. I don't agree with his policies, but if he can get the people in Georgia to vote for him, fantastic. He deserves to be heard by the public to make their own decisions. And if his policies are something that people like, great, vote for him. If they don't, at least he got heard. I really can't say much else about him or about that. Not my cup of tea, but if other people like him, great, vote for him.
All right. Yeah, I did vote for him in the last presidential election. And I did, Donna and I went to Jacksonville to watch a debate during the primaries for the Libertarian Party. And I got to speak to him and all of them just for a little bit. And, of course, very cordial. His campaign manager was at our table. Super nice guy. But I like Chase. I'm all for it. I'm glad he's back in. Joey, I hope he's active. If he's doing this and going to kick back, you can't pull a Joe Biden and be in your basement, Chase. You got to be out there, retail politics, especially third party. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're not loaded. Third parties usually are not. So get out there and hustle. Make a name for yourself so you can be heard, because I do believe in what Michael said, that he should be heard in Georgia, and we'll see where the chips land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Make some impact,
and at least be given a choice just to be on a ballot. I mean, that should be the minimum. Just like with Larry Sharpe in New York, just get someone else on there. I mean, voters should not have a choice between 2 people, and that's it. That's what
I was trying to say before. Yeah. 2 people.
It's horrible. I mean, the minimum should be realistically, can we get 4, 5, 6 candidates on the ballot? Let them all debate, listen to them, and then have runoffs or ranked choice voting or approval voting, whatever. So there's not like lesser to, I have to vote for this one because I don't want the other one to win. We need more choices on there, in my opinion.
Ranked choice voting is a great way to get the worst choice you could possibly have. It is a miserable, stupid idea, in my opinion.
Hold on.
In my opinion.
I want to go down that road, Mike. Hold on one second. Let's explain it first. So, Joe, since you brought it up, explain what it is, and then Mike, why don't you? Then Mike, follow with why you don't like it. Joe.
Okay, so let's say the three of us are running for whatever, for governor of whatever state. Charles, Mike, Joe. I'm the Libertarian candidate. Sorry, Chuck. I'm going to be the Libertarian here. We're going to get Mike. You're going to be the Democrat, Chuck. Sorry.
Oh no! Now I'm insulted.
Anyway, you're going to end up winning, so it's going to be okay. All right, so it's a very Democrat area, so a lot of people, like a lot of voters, want to be like, oh, well, I want to vote for the Libertarian, but they got no chance. We gotta make sure that the Chuck doesn't get, the Democrat doesn't get elected, right? So I got to vote for Mike, the Republican. He's the lesser of two evils, whatever they say, So they don't vote for me at all. So it's one past the post. Chuck runs away with it. He wins. It's all good. Or all bad. Anyway, so with ranked choice voting, you're like, oh, well, I don't have to vote for Mike because I don't because he's the only one that has a chance to win against Chuck. So I don't have to vote for him. I'll vote for Joe first. I like Joe better. Thank you very much. So I on the ballot, I'll put next to the first rank, I bubble in Joe's name. And then after that, I'm like, okay, well, my safety net will be Mike. So under the rank number 2, I bubble in next to Mike there. And then the third one, I might not do anything at all because I don't want to vote for you at all. But the Democrat, I'll put a bubble in there under the third choice for the Democrat. So if I end up getting like 10% of the vote, let's say, because people don't, like was mentioned earlier, we don't get media attention. We don't get into polls. We're not in the newspapers. No one talks about us. We don't raise the money. It's difficult to get on the ballot. So we start off very low. We don't get any automatic votes. So even getting 10% is a big deal. But those are people that can feel like they can vote for us. Otherwise, we get like 2%. So we are building viability that way. And other people might see that and come over here and want to vote for that next time. Anyway, I'm getting into nuance here. But you can vote for me. Second place would be those that all of them vote for me, let's say they're 9 out of 10 of them would make their second choice Mike. So and then you guys kind of get like 45 and 45, right? So neither one of you get a majority. But most of my voters would otherwise vote, for the Republican. So Chuck might go up, the Democrat might go up to like 46, but then Chuck gets 54, right? And he wins. But people might be afraid, like, oh, well, it's a very Democrat area. Democrats going to run away with it. I'm either not going to vote or I'll reluctantly vote for the Republican. And then ends up being like 51 to 49 or something. So it can end up being, I think people, the person that wins has to get a majority of favorability. They have to. So it guarantees a majority. I know in my own city, sometimes we didn't have runoffs. So we actually had elections where the person that won got elected. They didn't even get 50% of the vote because there was like 3 candidates that kind of split it 3 ways. Now there is a runoff, and this is the way it is most other places, but you lose one of the candidates. And it's kind of like defensive voting, like, oh, I know this person might not have a chance, so I'll vote for them in the primary or whatever. It's very like strategic voting. You're not actually voting for who you want. So with ranked choice voting, the bottom line is you get to vote for who you want. And not only who you want, but you get to rank how you want them. So it's the most, in my opinion, it's the best way to do it.
Okay. So basically, to boil it down, if you have 1, 2, and 3 on the ballot, so Joe, you're the voter goes into the booth. Joe, you're number 1. Mike's number 2. I'm number 3. Joe, you don't get 50%. You get taken off, right? And then it goes down to the next 2. So that person's vote becomes Mike with me number 2. And if Mike gets more than me, then Mike wins. 50%.
Yeah, 50%. So everyone that voted for me as their first choice, and I got 10%, I get dropped off. All of my second ranked choice, all the voters that voted for me first, whoever they voted for second, like I said, like maybe 9 out of 10 of them voted for Mike, and only 1 out of 10 voted for you, Chuck. You get 10% of my votes, and then Mike gets 9% or 90% of my votes. So it goes to you guys. So one of y'all are guaranteed to win a majority.
I thought it went automatically. I thought it went automatically down to the second person. That voter is Joe. You didn't get 50%. Mike gets the number 1 slot. He gets your vote.
Okay, so let's say I'm a voter. I vote for me first. I vote for Mike second, and I vote for Chuck third.
Yeah.
I'm eliminated. I get 10% of the overall vote.
Right.
So my number 1 choice gets thrown off the ballot.
Right.
Or off the chance to win. So I voted second place because my first place candidate is gone. My second choice is still in the race. So that's Mike. Right. So as a voter, my vote then goes to Mike.
Okay. Right. Can I jump in?
Mike. Yes.
Because there's a couple of elements that are problems with this. One of the problems is if Joe Average doesn't take a second or third or fifth choice, whatever it is on the ranked choice voting, they very often, and depending on which state you're in, very often their vote is assigned to the next highest person. No. Their votes get distributed against their will, which is a problem.
That's not true. That's not the way it works.
Some states it is. Some states that is. Not every state. Depends on the wording and the way they do the ranked choice voting. It can happen, and it does happen. So that's a problem I have with ranked choice voting right there. Second thing is the best person doesn't win. It's the best strategist will win. As an example of that, we see in New York City in the 2024 mayoral race for New York City, it was a strategy of ranked choice voting that got Mondami in. He wasn't the best candidate. He was the one with the best strategy. And Brad Landers was using his votes in that strategy to get him passed. Given Andrew Cuomo was a horrible candidate, and Curtis Lee was realistically the best candidate in terms of the policy, but it was all about the strategic maneuvering of the votes that would get them that leverage. Very often, and this is something I see consistently in ranked choice race after ranked choice race. 1, voters are confused in the process. 2, the manner in which votes are recalculated isn't fair, especially when you have people who don't assign a second or third or fourth. 3, you have the ability to have people who are not the best candidate for anyone's choice. The number 1 person doesn't mean they're going to win. And if they're not your number 1 choice, they shouldn't be getting your vote, period. If in any case, it doesn't matter who's running. If your choice does not win, they don't win, period. It is winner take all. That is important because there is no second chance. There is no, if I play the game right, if I manipulate the public in just the right way, I play the backroom politics just right, I can still win. No, that doesn't make you the best person. Maybe the best playing at politics, but not the best person. When you know you only have 1 shot at this, then you give it 110% to be the best that you can be and to impress the people, the public, the voter, the best that you can. And if you cannot do that and you are not capable of doing that, you don't deserve to win. I don't care what party you're in. I don't care who you are, what ideas you have. If you cannot win, you do not deserve to win. And ranked choice voting gives them multiple opportunities to win. It is unfair. It is not 1 person, 1 vote. It's 1 person, multiple votes, which can be manipulated. I'm sorry. I do not agree with it at all. I know a lot of libertarians do, a lot of third parties do, because that gives them a chance to be involved. And I get it, but it's not good for the country. And what would be more efficient and more fair is to get them to create a criteria that would allow third parties to be involved in the elections a little bit more in the election process so that they have a more fair opportunity to get their voice out there. Ranked choice voting is not it.
I just want to make 2 points clear here. And I understand what you're saying with the second choice being assigned for someone they didn't vote for. That is not how it's supposed to work. That's something the legislator or whoever is in charge of that, that's something they added in. That is not a part of the ranked choice voting method process. That's ranked choice voting. Then we're going to add something that shouldn't be there at all. So just want to make that clear. If you don't have a second choice, the way ranked choice voting works is you don't have a vote anymore. Basically, if your top choice loses, your vote doesn't go anywhere else because you didn't pick someone else for a second or third choice.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's up to you to do. You could just do top 2 or top 3 if there's like more than candidates or whatever, or just one, and that's it. The other point was I would prefer to not have political parties on the ballots at all, period. Because I think that makes it way too easy for a voter just to not even think, not even research, do nothing. Just walk in like on the day of voting. Oh, this says Democrat next to the name, I'm voting for the Democrat. Or this says Republican next to the name, I'm voting Republican. Or whoever is not the other one, whatever brainless, I call them zombie voters, whatever zombie voters do that did zero research, they're going to do that anyway. And I think removing the partisan label from the ballot makes either the voters will probably not vote at all, the zombie voters that did literally no research at all, or they'll go research. They'll get the sample ballot. I don't know how it is in New York, but in Florida, we get a sample ballot before the election. Do a little bit of research and find something that you like about a candidate and then vote for them.
Okay, let me address part of that. 20% of in every party, 20% of that party tend to vote straight down the line, party line, whenever possible. That's true of every party. That's just a nature. So I agree. Take out the name, the party affiliations, and just have the candidates. I think that's a great idea. I think that's perfectly valid. And it kind of cuts that out. And people are forced to actually be involved in the voting process. And I know some states, they've made it so simple now that you can literally in some states walk in, press one button, and it will vote straight down the party line, all your votes for that party.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. That is zombie voting. And I agree with you. Going back to the ranked choice voting, yet another thing that is a problem with it. Okay, one person who's voting votes can't stand any of the policies of the other two people. And I don't believe in this lesser of evils thing. You make one choice, you have one person. There is no lesser evil. It's either one person's good and that's my vote and no one else is good. That's it. And now assume that there are voters out there and they have that opinion and said, this is my candidate. They are the only one that makes sense to me. And the other guys are bad, period, full stop. Okay, so they only make one choice. But the next voter, the voter right next to them, made two choices or three choices. And again, you can say the same thing. One person says, well, there's only one. Another one says, well, there's only two candidates I can actually stomach. Someone else says there's three candidates I can stomach. Well, the person who's making more choices down the line, that person has more votes than you. Because let's go with your, we go with what you said, Joe, that, okay, if you don't vote in the second or third or whatever option there is, and you don't vote for it, you're no longer counted. Your vote doesn't exist anymore. Well, then you've just nullified my vote. I had a candidate. I had a vote. And you said, well, yeah, but your guy didn't win the first round. So you no longer count. Your vote no longer counts. That's voter nullification. I cannot stand that. Again, ranked choice voting for multiple reasons does not work. I understand the concept, does not work.
On the surface, I really like it, but I think Michael has some valid points. I'm open to hearing that discussed, in more detail. I think that I kind of like the idea of the third parties getting more choices and so on, but there could be some flaws there that maybe need to be ironed out. Nothing's perfect right out of the box, right? But go
with Joe's last idea. Take out the names, no party affiliations, not a problem. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah. I love that. Folks, this has been an awesome hour and 4 minutes so far. And we've talked about the best air fryers, and we've talked ranked choice voting, a great explanation on that. A little bit about Greenland. If you like what you're hearing, please like, comment, and share. Also, subscribe. If you care, you will share. Like, comment, and share. And if you subscribe, you become part of the tribe. I had people this weekend telling me how they get the notifications of the show every single time because they subscribed. And I would love for you to do that and spread the word. I am going to get back to Greenland because there was some news today in the Daytona Beach News Journal. And I don't know if it made national news or not. However, Florida Congressman Randy Fine believes that Greenland should be the 51st state and has entered legislation for the U.S. to annex the territory. Mm-hmm. For folks who don't know, he is a Republican. He is in the House of Representatives. He has the coolest nickname ever. It's called for a politician, the Hebrew Hammer. That's a cool nickname. And
I've not heard that before, by the way.
I didn't know that was his nickname, but okay.
Yes, that is a great nickname.
That's funny.
So what
he's
do you
my
guys
member
think?
of Congress, by the way.
Before we
is he really? Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Before we go forward with this, do you guys understand why Greenland's a deal? What's important?
Oh, actually, Mike, you left out one thing. It's not. It's. I think you said strategic. You didn't leave it out. You said strategically, and I wanted to add to that. It's because of the It's because of the waterways, right? If we own those waterways, yes, no, it is. No, it absolutely is.
That's actually. I understand that's what's being focused on by the media because it is a secondary and less important reason. That isn't it. There's only one reason why.
On the John Batchelor, hold on. On the John Batchelor show, I was listening to an expert in this topic. I would have brought it up. I will send it to you and I'll put it in the show notes. He said the waterways is vital to make sure that Russia and China do not get that again for our protection, for the defense of the United States of America. The guy, I'll put it in the show notes. You have a different opinion than
I'm very familiar with that argument. I know that argument. It's a secondary argument. It is not the main reason why. That isn't even a major reason why we will want Greenland. That it's just not realistic. We already have capabilities to detect them, and that's one of the things is the fact that we have a base already on Greenland. We've always had one there since World War II. There's 200 troops there. We have the ability to see the Arctic waterways. That's not the reason. We are there.
No. Hold on, Mike, wait. Did not say the reason. I said you brought up defense, and I said the defense is the waterways. That's not the reason. The reason is the minerals for the data centers, for AI, and so on, and everything else in the tech industry.
And that's my point. Right. That is
right. No,
everything else is tertiary, quite honestly. Everything else is tertiary, and the mainstream media is focusing on it as if it is important or higher importance, because if you really think about it, if you actually told everyone, and the public generally doesn't understand this, that without these rare earth metals, the United States within 30 years will lose the quality of life, our position in the world. We lose everything.
Right.
Everything will be lost in 30 years if we don't have these rare earth metals. That's why this is so important. That's why there's so much happening on this and why there's so much pressure being put on. And I don't think most people know that. It's not the waterways, it's the rare earth metals.
Right.
They literally will decide the future of America.
Okay, so get back to the main question. Randy Fine, is he out of his gourd, or should Greenland be the 51st state? Joe?
I don't mind having a conversation about adding a 51st state, but I think it should be up to the people that are living there right now. So I think it should be up to Greenland, and the way it works is like they have a mother country, if you will. So I think it should be up to them as well. And I don't think it should be just a majority. I think it should be supermajority. They should be 100% sure about that. So if they vote to do it, and we do it here too, like we decide, okay, yeah, we're good with having a 51st state or whatever. Okay, right. I'm okay with it. But there needs to be consent on both sides.
How about you, Mike?
No, because Greenland isn't an independent nation. They're a territory. They are owned 100%. Well, they are owned by Denmark. They are a territory of Denmark. They act and have a government semi-autonomously, but Denmark owns them. And Denmark owns the land. They can sell it anytime they want. If Denmark will sell us the land, great, we'll take it. And that offer of taking the land could be a purchase outright, and they could become a territory, a commonwealth. They could become a state. We would give them a choice after we've purchased it on what they want to be. And I don't care if they want to be a state. I mean, it's 56,000 people. It's not even a city. I don't care. They can be a state if they want to be, and good for them. They'll have a lot of people trying to pitch them to become Republicans or Democrats or Libertarians or DSA, because they'll have at least one congressman and they'll have 2 senators. If they were to become a state, it would be incredibly powerful for those 56,000 people. It would be very lucrative for them. Massive inflow of income and economy and infrastructure that would be built up. It'd be great for them. I don't care. I just want, and ultimately, Trump doesn't care. What we want, and what has always been on the table, and what is the main thing, is we want the rare earth minerals. We want a deal. Now, if we can't get the deal, then we move to the next stage. And the final stage is we just take it. But that's really, we're first saying we want to deal with the rare earth metals. If we can't get that, then we want a deal for the entire country. We'll buy it, which is not unfair and has happened in our history. I mean, Louisiana Purchase as one example. Right. Many countries have done this. That's not bad. Right. And then if we can't get that, then yes, we take it over, because we must. Otherwise, we cease to exist.
Okay, well, you said buy, and it's a good time to remind folks, because this was in the news when Greenland was first talked about by Trump, and then it just seemed to kind of slip away. FDR in 1946 wanted to buy Greenland, and he offered the equivalent of $1.6 billion in today's dollars to get that done, which I think was 100 million back then. However, he and anybody else who's thinking of buying it is a little bit behind the 8 ball in that regard now, and that is because where did that go?
You could buy it for 46.
That is because the Los Angeles Dodgers have actually bought Greenland. I don't know if you guys saw this in the news, but after they signed Kyle Tucker to $60 million a year, they went out. I saw this on the internet, guys, so this is for real.
It's true.
They went out
yes,
and
obviously.
bought Greenland. And if you thought there was no parity in baseball, I find this to be disgusting, because how can a middle market team ever compete? How are the Cardinals going to compete? The Twins going to be? What can Minnesota do? Maybe buy Guam or something like that, but they're never going to be able to buy Greenland. So I think this is horrible, and I just I don't know if you guys want to comment on it. I know you're not sports fans like me, but the Dodgers just went a little bit too far with this.
Well, if the Dodgers can afford 46 to 100, 46 billion, between 46 billion and 1.7 trillion dollars, which is the average and high end value of Greenland, depending on who you speak to, which source you're looking at, it's somewhere between 46 billion and 1.7 trillion. The U.S. can afford that, and especially at the anything under $100 billion, we can easily absorb in a heartbeat, and it would be worth it. Sure, if they can afford it, go for it. But I think the Yankees would be closer to being able to afford it than anyone else.
The funny thing is, like, I don't know, what are they going to do? Are they going to like set up their spring training there? I mean, you can hardly play baseball in the snow, you know?
Hey, it was snowing here in Florida today.
It was. For people who don't know, Destin got snow this afternoon.
Yeah, it did. It snowed here, which is incredible.
Yes.
But we can't afford it. We can't afford it. I heard that the number, like Trump wants to increase the defense spend. I'm using air quotes here. Defense spending by $500 billion. So it'll be $1.5 trillion in defense spending a year. No. And I think it might be like, hey, let's take this, 500 billion or so extra money here that we got in the budget and use that to buy Greenland. I wouldn't be surprised at all if those two things end up connecting. But we can't afford it. We're already paying north of $1 trillion in interest only. So adding another, $500 billion in debt and paying interest on top of that, it's not. Unless the minerals we just start selling them, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I mean, do you agree that it's vitally important that we get those?
I mean, it's vitally important that we get every piece of land on the entire Earth. I mean, I think it's vitally important that we, get Antarctica, because that's basically a giant glacier of fresh water. Yeah, we would need that. Let's get name a country. Russia. Let's get their oil. Any country in the Middle East. Let's get their oil. Let's whatever. It's every country, every land on Earth has some value. So I would prefer that we trade, and we trade with each other, and not end up. What's that movie with God? I can't remember the star. Mel Gibson. He's on a bike. It's like utopia, not utopia. It's apocalyptic.
You're talking about a movie?
The movie, yeah, Mad Max. So it's we're all
he's
just
not on a bike in Mad Max, but okay, go on.
Anyway,
he's in a car.
He's it's a world basically all just trying to get resources from someone else.
Yeah,
okay.
It's dystopian future, but
yeah,
that's fine. And I don't care if the rest of the world goes into a dystopian Mad Max future, as long as we are the last ones to have to deal with that. No, I'm being absolutely serious.
No,
let the rest of the world use up all their oil, and we have the last refuges of oil. That is a military strategy. That is something that is being planned for at this moment. We have to plan like that. And yes, use up everyone else's resources before we use our own. And let's increase our ability to expand those resources, including whether it's solar or wind. You can't do that without rare earth metals. And at the moment, we can't do that without China. And guess what? China hates us. Yeah. China wants us to die. So, yeah, we want to preserve ourselves. Greenland has potentially the third largest reserves of rare earth metals in the world. And that is the expectation. The fact, what we have seen as proven reserves, is the eighth largest, 12% of all of the rare earth metals in the world at this time. It's self-preservation. It is absolutely self-preservation. We must have that.
I agree I agree. I really hope that a deal is worked out. I'm not thrilled with adding a 51st country, no matter which one is mentioned. For a host of reasons, including Puerto Rico, but wouldn't be thrilled with Greenland becoming a country. I'd love to work out a deal where we have access to all the rare minerals, and because I'm with you, Mike. I want this country to live on forever. I know empires don't last forever. We are clearly an empire, but I think that if the world came to what you said, Michael, I would want the U.S. to be the only one standing, absolutely, because I love my country. Hopefully, we do work out a deal, and I'm, you never take military off the table. I'm sure Trump's just using that, as a way to coax them into a deal. And I know, I have heard in the news, Denmark feels like their one big prestige is that Greenland's a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. And so that might be hard for them to give up, but you make an offer they can't refuse, and hopefully we are not relying on China for rare earth minerals.
Well, Joe, they already said it's not for sale. So what's the other option? We're going to take it over with the military?
Well, deal. Sale and deal are two different things. FDR's idea of buying it and Trump's idea of buying it.
We don't have to buy it.
So
again, the first thing on the table isn't to buy it. That's what the media has been talking about, and that's what everyone's pushing because they don't like Trump. That's not the main offer on the table. We want the deal for the rare earth metals.
So
We want
let's say it's a
mining
deal. Let's say a deal happens tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
What were we just talking about?
What?
We were just talking about the end of the world, basically, and the United States being the last country standing, basically.
Sure.
Right.
So if Greenland is not our country, not our territory, nothing, all we have is a deal with them, why do they give a fuck at all about like this deal that we have? There's 56,000
At that point,
people over there.
At that point, we're taking it by force. We'll go in and
exactly.
reinforce the deal by force. But you're talking about the worst case scenario of the world.
Yeah,
well, that's what you guys are talking about.
No, I'm talking about real world.
Like we want to be the last country standing.
Yeah.
That is in what you guys are talking about. That is what's going to happen. It's not a matter of if; it's a question of when.
No, I don't.
Why do you say that?
Because it's going to happen one day or another, right?
No.
Like Mike, you said in 30 years we're going to be a third world country, or whatever you said. I don't know exactly what you said, but we don't have our minerals. We don't exist the way we do. We exist today, right?
Correct.
Okay, so if the world is going to apocalyptic land at that point, dystopian,
it's not. The world is
America. Well, I'm confused about what I heard.
Let me clarify. If America does not get the rare earth metals, Europe cannot develop them. They've had the access to them. They cannot develop them. They don't have the resources, the economic capabilities. They don't have the military to defend it. They cannot access it and develop it. America can. If we do not, the world will be under the subjugation of China because they have control over the rare earth metals, which gives them access to hypersonic missiles. It gives them access to AI, which would provide defenses against hypersonic missiles that we don't have at this moment. No one in the world does. It gives them access to renewable energy, which we cannot solve right now. And the only way to collect energy from rare earth, from renewable energy, solar, wind, geothermal, all of them require rare earth metals. China will have control of that, which would drive the world towards a socialist communist environment, which is not a utopia for anyone who's actually lived in a socialist or communist nation. They will tell you the many, many ways, and I have lived there, the many, many ways that socialist and communist nations are absolutely abject horror. So without America being able to do this, America, one, becomes a third world nation. We will lose our prominence in both defense as well as economically. We will lose the edge that we have right now. And once we lose that edge, the dollar stops being the currency of the world, which means that triggers our national debt and all of the IOUs we have out there, our unfunded liabilities. We would become a third world nation literally almost overnight because of that. And that means the quality of life that everyone has right now disappears instantly. Done. And you want to talk what's going to unbalance the world? That unbalances every aspect of the world. America becomes a free-for-all. And you will see many nations try and come in because we have enormous resources of everything except the rare earth metals. And that will be a very bad day for America. And it will be a very bad day for the world. That's the reality that we're looking at in about 30 years. And yes, it is that fast and it is that significant because we are talking about advances by AI in terms of renewable energy, in terms of weapons and defense.
That's what I was thinking.
Also economics, by the way. AI can be trained to affect economies as well. So there are many aspects to this. It is that vital. And if we have the deal, well, then America can maintain, maybe we're not the number one nation in the world, which I doubt we would lose, but at least within the 30 years, we wouldn't lose it, but we would at least be competitive on all of these factors in the world, which keeps more stability in the world. So it is better for the world if America has access to this to maintain stability and global unity relative to where we are right now for the entire world, as opposed to abject horror that happens.
It's safe to say that AI is going to be respected as much as an AI power is going to be respected as much as a nuclear power is. You always have to look at a country that has a nuclear weapon differently than one that doesn't. So if you have AI and whatever the next technology is, because obviously it's not going to end with AI, then you have to go to that. I'm sorry, I got lost in my own thought there. But the AI, the countries who have the strongest AI and the most effective are going to be more respected than those who don't. That's basically what I'm saying. Let's hope we make a deal. I'm sorry.
True, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Let's hope we make a deal that gives us access, and we'll move on from that. I did want to end on a really cool note, and I'm calling this one the coolest news of the week. I don't know if you guys have heard. A German company had created a backpack that transformed into insulated warm bed for the homeless. And basically what it does is, in addition to being a warm bed for the homeless, there's a built-in solar panel in the actual backpack when you expand it out that can charge small devices, power a light for, let's say, there's a lamp inside, a tiny little LED lamp that provides, of course, safety, and there is a phone port as well. Clearly, there are applications for something like this beyond just the homeless. It would be great for as an emergency kit. Particularly down here, you think about hurricanes, and of course, in other parts of the country, tornadoes, flooding and things of that nature. Any kind of natural disaster. Hikers would be interested in something like this. I have a little, I'm going to call it a rendering of one, and let me grab that for you guys so you can see what it looks like. So here it is.
They're in prototype stage. They haven't built it yet.
They are called this particular article, which is which I got from a news site called Astronomical News, and it is being used. There are variations of it. There are some that are more like a box that people can use. There are some that are simply backpacks like what you see on the screen there. Let me see if there's anything else in here that would be yeah, that's the gist of it right there in a nutshell. Now, there are American companies that are involved in this too. I'm going to show you that in 1 second. But what are you guys' thoughts on something like this?
I love it. I'm an advocate for the homeless. Anything that helps the homeless be able to survive better. One of the key things for the homeless is surviving the environment. And the better you can do that, the easier it is for you to reintegrate back into society. You maintain more of your, for lack of a better word, humanity. Okay. Living on the streets can be very devastating. And the first year is the critical time. If we can have something like this that we can give to people who are homeless, that will help them be able to reintegrate back into society because they can maintain their sanity, their humanity, their connectedness. They're not struggling for survival every second. I'm absolutely in favor of it.
Okay, how about you?
I don't think it's a solution to ending homelessness or anything like that. I am interested in finding out who's going to be funding it. Is it going to be government? Is it going to be nonprofits, private companies, just giving them out maybe? Obviously, the homeless can't purchase it, so it's someone else paying for it. And I imagine it's probably pretty expensive. So those are the questions I have, and I don't know. I mean, just like hearing about how the government and nonprofits deal with homeless in our area, I'm just waiting for them to waste money and not fix anything. It's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. There is, if you want more information, go to Design Boom. Let me grab that for you guys and everybody out there, and I'll roll that across the screen to get a website that has more information on this particular style. 1 second there, guys. Let me just bring that up there. Let me just do this real quick. And it's called Design Boom. There's a the Ulmer nest because they're using it in a town called Ulmer, Germany. So these are the guys at the moment. You can go see this version. Solar powered shelter for homeless. Now there's a company in America as well. Let me grab this guy off the screen. I'm going to share the screen and show you this. And we can look at the cost and things like that. Let me share the screen with you guys.
Sorry, one thing as you're switching over, I've got to jump. It's a family matter.
Oh no. Okay.
No, it's not crazy, but it is something that needs me. So I gotta jump off. Sorry to jump off a little early. We're over an hour and a half. So, but I gotta jump off. I just want to let everyone know. And again, I support anything that helps the homeless. I'm an advocate for the homeless. If this will help the homeless, then let's get more of these and spread them around and help the homeless. I'm all for it, whether it's German, American. I just want to help the homeless. And if this can help do that, I'm all on it. All right.
Okay. All right, Mike. Thanks as always for stopping by. So this is I was wondering about the weight, and it's lightweight, 6.6. Because you see some of the photos and it looks kind of heavy, and you're like, I don't know how the homeless would actually ever be able to walk around with that. But this one is 6.6. Let's just take a look here, Joe.
It's 6.5 feet, or is it 6.5 pounds?
It's 6.6 pounds.
That seems very light.
Okay, hold on. Let me grab, since Mike's. I'm gonna remove Mike from the screen too, since Mike's. I have to leave early.
So I think it's the latest we got on, actually.
Yeah. How much time do you got?
Until my battery dies.
Yeah. So we'll go to the main. This company is called Backpack Bed for the Homeless. It's a 501c. They claim. Yeah.
So they are a nonprofit.
Yes, these guys are a nonprofit. The first one I can't. The one from Germany, I honestly don't know. But these guys are a nonprofit, and they had a price of $114. Let's see if we could just bring that up.
$114?
Yes. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, let's see if we can. Let's see if we can bring that up. 114. Okay, I thought it was on their landing page that they had the price, but they had the price of $114. And if we scroll down just a little bit here, yeah, I guess it's not on their landing page. I thought it was on their landing page. And 6.6 pounds, not that bad. You could actually buy these for yourself if you want, if you are into, hiking and things of that nature. So does that change your opinion, seeing that it's a $114?
Yeah, it seems a lot more reasonable. Now I'm concerned about what it actually does. Because for $114, I don't know if it'll actually do what it says. Right.
Well, it's so new that I would imagine it's just going to take some time to really play itself out. And if it's viable, and if are they going to be able to raise money? Like, this is a 501c, so where's it going to go from here? They're looking. You can see right here. They're looking for money, donate, fundraise.
Yeah, that's what I don't get. Is like they're fundraising, but they're. I don't really know the industry, but the price point seems a little bit low.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I imagine their target consumer are someone that could buy it. So it'd be like local governments that are, taxing the people to, help the homeless or whatever. I would think that's what their target, people are. But so the bed saves the community $3,300. Like that, I don't know.
Every backpack bed saves the community $3,300. We got the 114. 114. I'm sorry, 144. We got the 144 right here. So it's a $144 backpack bed. Social impact value 132 plus. I don't know where they're getting that number from, obviously, but that's what they're saying the cost is. Obviously, for this one right here, here's that rolls. It just seems to me like the one downside is this seems. Of course, these are early iterations, right? I mean, this article was from the fall that I came across. I don't know how long. These guys in particular, the German article was from the fall in the Astronomical News, and it looks a little clunky for me. I don't know, like, you know, the proof's in the pudding. You got to test it in the field, and is it really going to work? But I would like to see some governments try it. What say you?
I only say no because I don't think taxpayers should have to pay for it. If it wants to be a church, which the reason why churches have, one of the reasons why churches don't have a tax is because they're supposed to be providing services that otherwise government would. So I'd like to see a church do this, or via a mission trip or something, or another nonprofit. I don't think taxpayers should have to pay for this, unless it actually does save money in some way. But the point is, the way fixing homelessness gets sold to the people of local government, local people, to tax them, is that, hey, we're taking people off the streets, we're finding them a home, we're getting them a job, we're fixing the problem. This sounds like we give up. Here is, this thing that you could go sleep under the bridge on or whatever. I don't think it actually fixes homelessness. So yeah, I'd like to see someone else make this successful before I would buy in as a taxpayer. Not that I get a chance to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the article was saying, Joe. That they were saying that this wouldn't solve the problem, but it's a great way station. It's a great in between to get to get them some shelter before they get them permanent homes and a job and all that kind of stuff. So, and if it's going to be that, then you really have to factor in the cost and things like that. And what's the alternative? The alternative cost, like if you're not doing that, so like let's just take Daytona Beach by way of example. We have the first step shelter, right? For all of Volusia County, actually. So, would they be interested in something like this? Because they have a little outdoor area where people can sleep at night. Would they be involved in this so they don't have to take in so many people because they have a limited number of beds? So it could be useful that way as well. But go ahead.
Here's the thing. I don't know how much a backpack costs, honestly, but you mentioned the beds, and the homeless shelter, a local one, last I heard anyways, a few years ago now, that last heard something. They will stop taking people in because they don't have the beds for them. So if the government is okay with sleep outside in the woods, here's a backpack for you, and we're going to pay for it, I would rather them just pay a lot less money for a regular backpack, but hey, be indoors with us. You have electricity here that we're already spending the money on anyway. So it doesn't make sense to me. It's a lot cheaper option. Like, again, I wouldn't want the government spending money to not fix the issue. like bring them into the place we already spent the money on, give them a cheaper sleeping bag to sleep on if that's the problem, and that's it. They are safe there than out in the middle of the woods.
So I'm not
taxpayers more money. It just doesn't make sense to me at all.
Okay. Just to play devil's advocate, there are some people who don't want to be in shelters, right? So this might be good for them. And also, what if it was the 5013? This 5013 that's called backpackbed.org. So not the government doing it. Would that change your mind?
Yes, if they want to do that, that's fine with me. It's not costing me anything. I'm not being extorted to do it. But like you said, some people want to be out there. If they want to be out there, they've already been living that way. They already have their methods to have a light or have an actual bed or something. So again, they're choosing to do it. So I don't think taxpayers should have to pay for someone else choosing to live a certain way when we're already paying for them to come inside and like have, you know, this homeless shelter that we're already paying for.
Okay.
It just, I don't know. I don't know. It's just getting too much for me to basically have the government paying for everything, every lifestyle someone wants to do. Are we going to be paying for people doing drugs next or whatever? I know I'll probably come off as really insensitive on this, but like, you know, they have a choice, and if they want to live in the shelter, like if it's too cold, is it supposed to be a heat thing, right, or a light thing? Well, the homeless shelter we're already paying for has heat and it has light. Just come there. It costs us less money. You'd be more comfortable. You're not worried about, you know, the elements outside. And if that doesn't worry you, then I mean, I don't think this backpack does anything for you. If you're choosing to live out there, I don't know. That's my say. Probably
Okay.
very unpopular opinion, but
Well, we'll find out in the comments.
I'm sure they're hating me right now. Good thing I'm not reading it.
That's where we're going to end it this evening. Thanks, Joe, for stopping by, and thanks to Michael too. Michael had to leave early, but it's always a great conversation on Monday nights. I love doing this show. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you next week.
All right. Yes, see you next week. And folks, I don't know where in the world you are or what time it is in your neck of the woods, but I hope you had a good time this time. Until next time, I will see you later.